Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Snug Wrestling. I am Edgar. I'm the host. Tommy is here. Today is Wednesday, which means we are going to be going over this week's episode of WWE NXT from the Performance Center, officially on the road to the Great American Bash. I thought, as of last week, I was already saying that we're on the road to American Bash, but on this episode of NXT, we had two number one contenders matches for the men's and women's NXT championships. And we also had a big title match for the main event for the women's North American championship. In a overall, for the most part, I think pretty entertaining episode of NXT. I mean, because it felt like things were moving here because they're gearing up for Great American Bash. There's a few things there that were kind of hit or miss for me, and we will be going over all of that and so much more. Tommy, welcome, bro. How was everything?
I'm feeling good, honestly, but the show itself was pretty good. We also found out that we will be getting a number one contendership match next week for Miles Bourne for that North American title as well. So there's a lot of number one contender matches coming up. I'm still trying to see and figure out how the hell I'm going to be able to watch Great American Bash and see if it's still going to be live on the CW app itself or not. But we'll see on that. We'll try to figure that out.
Yes, that's right. And see, this is why I think I enjoyed NXT so much this week because it's like, all right, we're going to see who is going to be the individuals that we're going to see at Great American Bash, who's going to face the champions. And we found out two of the next competitors, the next challengers for the NXT titles. And next week, we have another one to determine who's going to face Miles Bourne for the North American title. So it's looking like we're going to see most of the championships being defended at Great American Bash, which is exciting, right? And we were just talking about that last week. And let's get this out of the way now, Tommy. When it comes to Jackson Drake and Miles Bourne, we literally just said we need to see Jackson Drake versus Miles Bourne. Jackson Drake has been getting lots of wins. It makes sense for him to go for at least the North American title at this point in his career.
Yeah, and the fact that we are getting that number one contendership match with him between Jackson Drake and Tavion Heights, which I find really interesting. The fact that he's still trying to go after Miles while also trying to help him here and there. So he's a little bit of a tweener himself. But if Jackson Drake manages to beat Tavion Heights, we're getting that match we literally just talked about. And
Yeah, man,
I would be so hyped for that.
yeah, and it makes sense, and it's a great match. Tavion Heights is a crazy athlete himself. So who do you got winning, man? I'm pulling for Jackson Drake here, man. I love Tavion Heights too, man, but it just the way that Jackson Drake has just been getting over every week is really it kind of stands out a lot, man. So I think that would be a great matchup for Miles Bourne.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Jackson Drake as well. We legitimately have gone through the fact that these two would be fantastic in the ring together just because of like their styles and everything else. But Jackson Drake is absolutely title ready, but at the same time, maybe not enough to like grab that title just yet. But if he can put Miles Bourne to his limits, which I have a feeling like he can, then he might be pretty damn close to landing his first singles title.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. The only thing now that we're talking about Jackson Drake, the next thing that comes to mind is a vanity project, the NXT Tag Team Championships. They haven't even been mentioned on this road to Great American Bash. I know technically it just started. We still have what, 2, 3 more weeks until the Great American Bash?
Yeah, it's on the 28th, that Sunday.
Do we see the Vanity Project defending those titles at the Great American Bash?
Knowing how WWE is with heels and defending titles, I have a feeling like they won't, simply because of the fact that it's the damn Vanity Project. Look at the amount of time it was from when they got it to their first defense. It was still a hot minute.
Yeah, it feels like they've been champions forever. I could only remember one, maybe two title defenses so far for the Vanity Project. Unfortunately. Well, speaking of the tag team division, I feel like there's hope after seeing this opening match for NXT. It was a tag team match, Fraxiom versus a new team of Noam Dar and this new young, very, very young, 21-year-old up and coming kid, Romeo. What's his last name? Do you remember his last name?
I can't remember for the life of me.
Romeo something. Romeo something. Moreno.
Yeah.
Romeo Moreno. I'm saying it all whitewash. Romeo Moreno is his name. He's from Spain. And this kid, man, he's being mentored by Noam Dar, right? In storyline, quote unquote. But this kid is good, man. They're starting to use him a lot on NXT every week. He was in the Speed tournament. He went to the finals where he lost to Lexis King, but it took Lexis King almost the entire 5 minutes to beat him. So they're really working on this kid, Romeo, and he's really good, man. Like, he reminds me of kind of like Javon Evans. You know, this kid has fire. He has he's hungry. Like, he wants it. Like, you can tell. Like, he's really he's got something. This kid Romeo. So they had a great match. Fraxiom, who's from SmackDown, they're down on NXT from the main roster. That's always cool to see. And yeah, man, it was high flying, high paced action, dope opening match. Fraxiom won. And we also saw who was the team that was watching this match backstage while this was happening.
It
There was someone
definitely
else.
wasn't Dark State, because Dark State had a match later on.
No, there was. Oh, it was. They're also a new tag team from like LFG or Evolve or something like that. Is it Eli Drake or something like? No, that's Jackson Drake. It was anyway. It was another
Was
new
it
team. We've
Eli
seen
Knight?
him. No, Eli Knight is EK Prosper now. It's like these two other guys from Evolve or something like that.
Yeah.
We've seen them on the Speed tournament also. They faced each other a couple times. I don't remember their names, but anyway, they're great athletes. Maybe when we see them more on NXT, I'll be able to remember their fucking names. But yeah, man, the tag team division is looking a lot better, I feel like. But I mean, honestly, if we're going to compare them to the current NXT champions, I feel like any tag team is probably better than the Vanity Project.
Yeah, that's about right, unfortunately. It's sad to say that any tag team is better than your damn champions. Then again, it's the fucking Vanity Project. And if they just pulled up Jackson Drake, that would have been great. I feel the same way when it comes to Fatal Influence being called up to the main roster. I feel like it should have just been JC Jane that was called up, especially since the other two hadn't really done much, like Fallon Henley and God, I can't remember the other girl's name. But I feel the same way with that. But I do love the fact that Fraxiom is still being used. Even if it's not on the main roster, they're still being utilized and shown off. And the fact that these two could take Fraxiom to their limit. Like, if you, like, right after the match, Nathan Frazier was like, you had me for a second there. You almost had me. So clearly, they are able to take a main roster level tag team to their limits.
That's very true. All right, Tommy, we got to talk about the highly anticipated Mr. NXT pageant, right? I wasn't sure what we were going to see, but this thing went throughout the entire show. It was broken down into like three different segments throughout the show. The first part was attire, where they had a model runway competition where they modeled certain outfits. The second one was talent so they can show the judges and the people their talents. And the third, I guess, competition that they did for this pageant, which was later on in the show, was public speaking, where they basically had to cut a promo. Now, the judges was Kit Wilson from SmackDown, some comedian guy that I've never seen before.
And the men's Evolved champion, although I can't remember what his name is.
So the name is Aaron Rourke, who's the current Evolved champion. And Matt Matthews is the comedian that they decided to use for this pageant. Why? I have no idea. I don't know what his relationship is with NXT or why he was even there or what. That wasn't explained. It was just, oh, he's a comedian, Matt Matthews. Okay. And Tommy's gone. Now we're going to have to wait for his ass and edit this out. Damn, all my pens are dying on me, bruh. Tommy, where are you? This fool, man. Leaving me here hanging all by myself, motherfucker. And I'm out of pens. Shit. Oh, was that one? Oh, I think You're fired. You ready?
Yep.
So, Tommy, I'm going to just jump ahead and spoil this whole thing. Shiloh Hill ended up winning. He defeated Tristan Angels in this pageant competition. And supposedly it was decided not by the judges but by the fans, because they put a nice little QR code on the screen for the fans to vote, right? But we didn't see the results. We didn't get to see how many people voted. They didn't give us the numbers or the polls. It was just like, Shiloh Hill won. There you go. And that was it. So, did this thing that we see, Tommy, did it make you want to see the match between these two or interested in this feud at all? Or what was your major takeaway from this whole thing?
This was so fucking stupid. I hated this entire goddamn thing. It was so dumb. Up until Angels decided to attack Shiloh. That's where I'm like, okay, great. So he's going to attack him. That's awesome. But at the same time, you went through this entire stupid ass pageant just for that? Something that could have just regularly happened backstage. This was dumb as fuck.
Dude, okay, so the only thing that this whole thing actually did for me, right, is I learned that Evolve has a champion who, I mean, forgive me if I'm politically incorrect in saying this, is gay, which is a big deal nowadays in pro wrestling. You always see, oh, openly gay pro wrestler so and so, and this guy, I'm sorry if he's not gay, or he's a really flamboyant guy, but that's rare to see even today in 2026. So they have Aaron Rourke as the Evolve champion over there in Evolve. So I mean that was kind of interesting. I didn't know that. That was introduced to me. The comedian guy, Matt Matthews, okay, why should we care about him? Why do we need to know who that is? I don't know. And we all know who Kit Wilson is. So that was the most interesting thing for me that came out of this whole fucking pageant thing. It wasn't, I didn't care who Mr. NXT is, the inaugural Mr. NXT. By saying inaugural, that tells me that they're going to keep doing this.
They better the fuck not, because this was like extremely dumb. I feel the same way about this as I did the fucking gingerbread man storyline. It was so goddamn dumb. It's so stupid. And I feel like this entire fucking thing was written by AI. It's
Yeah,
that
probably.
bad.
Yeah, and at the end after the attack, good old Tristan Angels takes the what is it called? The fucking thing that they wear. What is that thing
The
called?
stash.
He took that. So even though he lost, he's gonna walk around like he's Mr. NXT, kind of like the thing that they do with the King of the Ring, where I'm the King of the Ring, and he's gonna be the self-proclaimed Mr. NXT, right? And that supposedly is gonna get him a lot of heat in today's world of pro wrestling, I guess, right?
This was so
Any
fucking dumb.
okay, there we go. All right, the first number one contenders match: Tommy, your boy Mason Rook, versus Naraku, or AKA Evil. Yeah, so the winner from here is going to face Tony D'Angelo at the Great American Bash. And we talked about this last week. We kind of did some predictions about this, Tommy. We were both kind of pulling for Naraku to win this one, right? But I feel like this is what? Naraku's third match on NXT. His first two matches, he was really dominant. Mind you, it was versus much smaller people. And then his third match is versus someone a lot bigger like Mason Rook, right? So in this match, Naraku didn't really look as impressive, he wasn't really in control. He was like the underdog. Naraku was the underdog in this match, right? And it was confusing because Mason Rook is supposed to be the heel. Yet Naraku, who's the underdog, was not getting cheered for it. Everyone wanted to see Mason Rook win, who was mostly in control of this match. He was just beating the crap out of Naraku left and right. And Mason, or actually, no, Naraku won, right? Naraku won
Yeah.
this one. Naraku won this one. So Mason Rook whooped his ass throughout most of this match, and then Naraku got lucky at the end because didn't Cam Hendricks show up and cause a distraction? So Naraku won. He's going to the Great American Bash, but Mason Rook was the one that looked better in this match, I thought.
I do feel like they chose the better match option, though, between the two. Naraku against Tony D'Angelo. Just those two. You've got the NXT champion up against a former New Japan Pro Wrestling world champion. So that in itself is a massive thing, and I feel like they definitely did choose the right option. But there was a backstage segment later on in the show where the massive question was asked. What the fuck is in the box? We will find that out next week, because Naraku and Tony D'Angelo will be having next week a face-to-face where we're going to find out what the invitation in the box was.
So give us a little more background to that, some more context, because I mean, I kind of saw it, but I really wasn't paying attention to that part. So what is happening here? What's Tell us what you know, everything you know about this whole box thing. What happened?
So before Naraku officially debuted and entered in and all of that, a box came to Tony D'Angelo just out of nowhere with the same symbol that was on the shirt that he would end up giving to Tony D'Angelo when he actually debuted. That symbol of war. And he said in that backstage segment last night that inside of that box was an invitation, but he did not tell us what the invitation was for.
Okay. Gonna read a quick comment here from Triggered Wrestling. You might like this one, Tommy. They say Tristan Angels should replace Elton Prince until he comes back.
That I wouldn't mind at all, because Elton Prince and Angels both have like the same type of vibe to them. So I feel like how this should go is he replaces Elton Prince for a bit. And then when Elton Prince comes back, that will cause a little bit of back and forth between him and Kit Wilson.
All right. So we'll see what happens with Naraku. He is going to be going to the Great American Bash to face Tony D'Angelo, and we'll be doing predictions on that later on. The second number one contenders match of the night was Kelani Jordan versus Kendal Gray. Oh man, did they completely iced out Kendal Gray's momentum there on NXT? I feel like because she was getting hot for a minute, she was getting over for a minute. Remember, she won that what was that gimmick match that they do where they get locked up in a cage or in the box and
Iron Survivor.
Didn't she win that one recently?
I believe so, yeah. It was either her or Lola, one of the two.
I'm pretty sure it was Kendal Gray, right? And she was getting over. She was put in the main event a couple times. I believe she's had a couple matches for the NXT title, the women's title already. She didn't win. One of them, I believe, was a triple threat match. The other one was a singles match. But yeah, she was building a lot of momentum, Kendal Gray. And then for the past few weeks, she was on TV, but she wasn't wrestling. She was doing backstage segment, cutting promos here and there. And now it's just, I feel like they had something really good with Kendal Gray, and now it's not really there anymore. And then she goes into this match with Kelani Jordan, who Kelani Jordan has been complaining that, she's been on NXT for a long time. She's done all these great things. And she's kind of complaining like a typical heel. I've never gotten a shot. I've never gotten a real opportunity for the main title. And in a way, she's right. I mean, she's been there for a while. Kendal Gray has 2 shots already. Kelani Jordan hasn't gotten none, right? So in that sense, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of rooting for Kelani Jordan here because yes, she's complaining, but she has a point. So hopefully Kelani wins this. She goes to the Great American Bash to finally get a title shot versus Lola Vice and Kendal Gray, who's been completely iced out. Her momentum, I feel like, has been slowing down. She gets the win over Kelani Jordan, and we're gonna get Kendal Gray versus Lola Vice at the Great American Bash.
I think I already like that match more than the thought of Kelani there, because we've already had a couple matches between Lola Vice and Kelani Jordan. One where Kelani Jordan did end up tapping out Lola Vice, but their next match was that underground match where Kelani got knocked out cold. So that's kind of why I like Kendal Gray in this match more, is because of the fact that we've already seen twice now Kelani Jordan versus Lola Vice, and I don't really want to see a third right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Lola Vice and Kelani Jordan do have a lot of history. maybe they want to build that up more, and maybe it is going to be Kelani Jordan, the next women's NXT champion, because of everything you just said, Tommy. I think that would make sense. Well, we're going to be getting Kendal Gray at Great American Bash versus Lola Vice. And we got a couple more weeks to see what they build up, how that, because technically these two women are baby faces, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a baby face versus baby face. So, all right. Let's see what happens there. Maybe good old Kendal decides to turn heelish. I think that would be interesting. Jasper Troy versus Dion Lennox. The Dark State randomly decided to attack Jasper Troy last week backstage on NXT. And we got this match. But Dion Lennox was distracted because he was watching his back most of the match, just in case our good friend Saquon Sugars decided to show up. And he did. He showed up on the screen. They played a pre-tape video on the Titantron. Sugars snuck attack the Dark State from behind with the baseball bat. But Dion Lennox was still able to get the win here despite not being fully concentrated in his opponent, which is big old Jasper Troy. So, yeah, I mean, what did you think about this one?
I feel like this match was fine for me, honestly. It's a bit off and on. It's iffy. But overall, the match itself was fine. The best part of it was what happened after with Saquon Sugars. The fact that he had that video package, it started buffering there at the end, going back a few seconds and then going to the end and going back a few seconds, going back to the end, until Saquon came out and took out another member of Dark State. So it's very clear that what's coming up at some point will be Saquon Sugars versus Dion Lennox, and I wouldn't mind that match. I'm honestly hyped for it.
All right, Tommy, it's time to talk about the main event. I was really looking forward to this main event, man. Zaria versus Tatum Paxley for the North American Championship. And man, did they deliver. I'm a huge fan of Zaria. I think she does great work. Tatum Paxley is over. So it was a very entertaining match. And we got a new North American champion. But man, they were going back and forth. Tatum almost had it. She hit her big move. She even did a coast to coast on Zaria. And Zaria took advantage. There was like a little miscalculation there by Tatum Paxley where she tries to do a dive out of the ring. She misses. Then Zaria fucking continues to hit her with like a fucking 3-move combo plus an F5 and all kinds of shit. But she was able to put away Tatum Paxley. And finally, she has won the North American Championship that she has been chasing forever, for a long time. And even though Tatum Paxley is over, the people were chanting, "You deserve it," because she does, man. Zaria has gone through a lot to earn that championship. She finally did it. We've been seeing the whole ride through and through, Tommy. And I was really happy to see, even though Zaria's a heel, I'm really glad to see she finally got that North American Championship. In your face, Soul. Eat it.
I honestly like this match. It went really well. As much as I love Tatum, her losing it made the most sense. In fact, there is a theory that I've heard is that her losing this title is going to lead to a quiet call-up for Tatum Paxley. And I wouldn't mind her being called up to the main roster. I really wouldn't. But here's my biggest thing. And it doesn't even involve the match. It involves what happens with that title almost every time somebody gets it. Can we please stop licking the fucking titles? So what the hell? Like, Zaria did it. Jacob Fatu has been notorious for it. And if some of those pictures that have been posted show anything off, like there's one with CM Punk with his world title, and then up top being his wife's Intercontinental title. Can we please just stop licking the belts?
Tommy, stop. We all know that you sit there and you lick all of your belts all the time, bro. It's all right.
I fucking do not at all.
You look guilty to me, dog.
This sucker is battle damaged, but it ain't never being licked. I can promise you that.
All right. Yeah, I also did hear about that, Tommy. I heard the rumors. There was pictures and videos circulating around the internet after the match, after the main event of NXT, of supposedly Tatum Paxley going around saying goodbye to everybody. She was saying goodbye to the NXT audience, which a lot of people believe that she's leaving NXT, which can only mean she's going up to the main roster, which that would be cool. I would like to see that for sure. I mean, God knows Liv Morgan needs opponents. So,
yeah, Liv does need opponents, but the problem is, I can guarantee you WWE's main thought process right now is, yeah, sure, you will defend that title after Stephanie Vaquera comes back. It's the exact same thing they did with Rhea Ripley back when she got injured.
I don't think they're not going to use Liv at all or put her in a program versus anyone until Stephanie Vaquera comes back. I'm not sure that's how they do things. I'm pretty sure it's like, that's like saying we're not going to do anything with Austin Theory because Logan Paul is injured. We're just going to keep him off TV. We're not going to have the titles on TV until Logan Paul comes back. That's just not smart booking. That's not how, I don't think that's how they do things. So I don't know where you heard that from, but I wouldn't believe that. That's just me.
But I'm talking about like real feuds. Like she can have regular matches here and there. It's the entire reason why she's in the fucking Queen of the Ring tournament, even though she shouldn't be because she's world champion. But still, it's the entire reason why she's there. Is that way she can do something while we still wait for Stephanie.
Yeah, and who knows? What if Stephanie comes back, and what makes you think she's going to go back after Liv? I mean, she could go after Soul. She could be moved over to SmackDown. We see that happening a lot, where people just randomly being moved to SmackDown.
The fact that the next week after losing it, she immediately attacks Liv, and that was the last time we saw her.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, you could be right. You could be right, but also, the WWE has also done stuff like that and just never picked up on it again. We don't know what's going to happen is what I'm trying to say. So, if Tatum Paxley she is going to get called up, I would like her go after Liv Morgan. It'll be a good way to put Tatum Paxley over. The people love Tatum Paxley. It'll get new eyes on her. And Liv Morgan will do a good job of making Tatum Paxley look good.
No, this isn't just because emo girl versus emo girl, but two matches I wouldn't mind for Tatum are Paige and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. I mean, Tatum Paxley would probably need a tag team partner to face Paige right now at this point in time. Rhea Ripley. Yeah, I think I don't know what's going on with Rhea Ripley. Oh, I think what's next for Rhea probably Charlotte, I'm thinking. Again, maybe. Because we've been seeing Charlotte mixed up a lot with Rhea.
Yeah, but we've
What's
been
that?
seeing them team for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Tatum versus Rhea would be cool too. But I think right now, how things are going, I'm starting to believe that because I feel like Rhea's too busy right now. I think it makes more sense if Tatum Paxley gets called up. She should go to Raw and go after Liv. I think that would be a great start for Liv. Kind of like what they did with Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka got called up. They put her with Becky. You know, she got over with Becky. So I'm not saying Tatum Paxley would need to get over with Liv, but I think that would be a good start for her there. Um, but yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened on the main event of NXT. It's gonna be dope to see what Zaria does with that championship, man. I'm psyched to see what they're gonna do with her now that she's North American champion. And hopefully we see Tatum Paxley show up on Monday Night Raw, Tommy. Is there anything else that we missed when it comes to this main event or this episode of NXT overall?
No, it basically went through everything.
Yeah. So next week we got Jackson Drake versus Tavion Heights, which I'm excited for that. And is there anything else on the card that we know of as of right now?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay. All right. Well, that was this week's episode of NXT. Let us know what you guys think in the comments, what you guys thought about everything, and leave a star rating, leave a review. Thank you very much for hanging out with us today. We will be back again probably this weekend for Friday Night SmackDown if I'm not too drunk because of the World Cup. Tommy, let's get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was this episode of NXT Review on Snug Wrestling. You can catch us every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday for Monday Night Raw right after the show goes off air. NXT next day, Thursday night on TikTok Live with our glorious leader Snug and Mr. Blood as they go through current and relevant wrestling topics while also going through your fan questions as well. And also, you've got Sunday for Friday Night SmackDown. You can go get your merch at tpublic.com/snug_wrestling. That is TEE public.com/snug_wrestling. Stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. That was one time for the one time. 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet.